now because of I have to, yeah, it cut off on Twitter as well because I have to restart somewhere. So just like I was saying, those of you on YouTube, you are welcome back. This is what we are actually grappling with. The topic is very sensitive, so they have to do what they have to do. And Facebook, but my greatest surprise, YouTube as well. Only Twitter was not kicked out. I don't know. So you are welcome back. Even on Facebook, we are back on Facebook. They just interrupted the audience. They know that the audience will find it difficult because they will not send I know they will not send invitation. They will not send invitation back to the audience. I know that. But if you are joining us again, share the video, invite others to join, just like you have shared the video. Share it again, invite others to join. So now I want you to know what we were talking about. You know, that is a distraction. Whenever they kick us out on some of these platforms, it is a distraction because it is actually going to, we are talking out of our brain, out of our heart. We are not reading a script. So they know it. They know that whatever we come to talk about, it is in our mind, and they know how to actually, you know, destabilize it or distract it and remove the audience, knowing that they don't send notification anymore to our audience. They are restricting, but the voice of the oppressed must be heard, and that is the reason why we are here. We will continue to preach this gospel, and we are not going back, regardless of what they throw at us. So, as I was saying, the fight that you see, that the war that you see that autopilot wage against IPOB, it is a war. It is a proxy war. A proxy war. That is what autopilot waged against IPOB. You can see the enormity of the instigation, the enormity of all these, you know, attacks on the structure, on the leadership. You can see it. And some of those who actually decided to deviate and fall on the roadside, because so many seeds were actually planted. Some of them fall on the roadside. Some of them, erosion took them away. Some of them germinated. I am talking to you. The obedient shenanigan and the selection in Nigeria have not taught you a lesson. A fool at 40 is a fool forever. Now coming to obedient people, those who has been clamoring obedient. Some of them was in the autopilot also. Like a king in one Solomon, do you still see him anymore? You don't see him anymore. There was a time before you stopped seeing him, before he came out. I told you that so many of them, they hide their faces, they hide their platform, they are supporting obedient. Did I say it or did I not say it before King Nwa Solomon came out and from there he disappeared? This is what all of them has been doing with you, playing with your mind. Some of them, like Eberima in Finland, supporting Tinubu in secret, just like Nsima supporting Tinubu in secret, until they saw that this is no longer. Of course, you are collecting money. You can't be playing secret game. The only reason why Eberima has to play secret game is because he needs to cause a chaos in Biafra land. Had it been he succeeded in that chaos, this selection process, you will not see it as a selection process. You will say that Biafrans did not vote for obedience because it is IPOB. That is what the news will be telling you today. Now, where are those obedient movement? Are you still movementing? Obedient movement, I hope you are still movementing. You are movementing now, calling for your vote to be given to you. When I told you since last year that your vote does not count. The opinion and the decisions of the ordinary people does not matter in Nigeria. Did you believe it? You never believed it. You believe that this is just Judge Money talking. Judge Money like to talk. I told you that your vote, your opinion, you don't matter in Nigeria. The only people that matters in Nigeria is the political class. Political class, they are the people that matters. They are the people that, you know, when they speak, it comes to pass. When they act, it is actually heard everywhere. When you make a decision like such lady who was broken, they broke her eye, she still was resolute enough to still vote. I am happy that all these things happened. For you to see, it does not matter how much you work hard to support one Nigeria. It will never stand. It is a building in a wrong foundation which will never ever favor anybody. Nigeria's structure is created to favor those who built it. Did you build Nigeria? Why was census manipulated in 1963? Because they want to continue to manipulate the vote, telling you it is a game of number. Obedient people does not have the number, and they believe obedient people is only those people they manipulated their count in the census, telling you that the North, the FULQNIs are to number you. Are you now seeing the result of the manipulations of 1963 census? Because so many of you forget so soon. You forget so quickly. That has been the problem you have in that zoological republic called Nigeria. You forget. Who introduced election rigging? Britain. The confession is there. Who advised Fulani to manipulate the census? Britain. Because they want you to be marginalized. And as a result of that, you have been marginalized in the last 50 years. Nigeria at 60, a fool at 40 is a fool forever. When you pass 40 years, you continue to say a fool at 40 is a fool forever. You that is using your mouth to say a fool at 40 is a fool forever. You pass 30 years, you did not fix Nigeria. You never got Nigeria right. You passed 35 years, you never got Nigeria right. You passed 40 years, you never got Nigeria right. You, for once, practice what you preach. Because some of you just talk because you hear people say it. You just talk. Nigeria at 63. A fool at 40 is a fool forever. Yet you believe that this fool forever will still, there is a magic that will happen. This fool forever that is already 60 years old. Is it when he gets to 100 that you will know that it will never, there is no mequatarism. There is nothing that you will do to actually bring anything change in Nigeria. You can't. If, let me ask you, let me tell you, let me just give you, let me call it, let me use an idiom. And in this idiom, it is like a terminology, but it is, I will put it in idiom. Okay, I want you to go now. You have 5-bedroom house, or maybe you have 3-bedroom house. I want you to go now and remove the roof, put a decking on top, put double-story building on top of it, and see if it is going to stand. 2-bedroom house or even 5-bedroom houses. I want you to go now, put a decking on top of it, and build 2-story building on top of it and see if it is going to stand for a very long time. If it can stand, it means that Nigeria that you are trying to, bring a change to is going to stand. If it cannot stand, it means that Nigeria will never stand. Because you trying to do anything or change Nigeria, you are trying to build on a foundation that is not meant for what you are building for. Foundation of Nigeria, which is the structure I always use the word structure. It is the foundation of Nigeria which was laid by the neo-colonialists, by the colonialists. And this structure was laid because they are now leaving you. They are now leaving the power with you. Leaving the power with you, they know that they have to build a foundation, lay a wrong footing that you will never get familiar with, and they will not introduce you to be familiar with it, so that it will continue to exploit you. That is the foundation you see called Nigeria. And until you actually begin to think like a human being, because so many of you think from your earners. Believe you me, so many of our people, they think from their earners. They don't think from their brain. That is likewise all these people who are calling for Igbo presidency. When they tell Hope Uzodinma, go and kill your people, you go and kill. When they tell Wike, go and kill in Obibo, he go and kill. You have seen the real picture of this Wike and his people. That has all freedom. Obedient, did Wike betray you or not? These are the people who are actually acting as if they are with you. Did he betray you or not? He betrayed you. All these things are the things you people need to put into consideration and now understand that Nigeria is a fraudulent country. A country that will never stand to favor the people who owns it or who is presumed to be owners of it. I can say it in that way. It is a right terminology. People who is presumed to be owners of it, it will never work in your favor. Never, ever work in your favor. It will only work in the favor of those who created it. That is the reason why America was advertising your election. Britain was advertising your election. After advertising your election, they already know that their favorite party is APC. After advertising your election, now is there anybody saying anything about it? Now they will now introduce foreign policy. Foreign policy. Remember they threatened they will not give visa. What is Tinubu going to do with their visa? Tinubu will go to Dubai, Arab country, where he is his fellow Muslim. That's where he will go. If you, of course, no one is denying him visa. Is he not going to go for United Nations program as a president representative? Is he not going to go for hunger program when he comes? Is he not going to go for, he's going to represent you. How are they going to deny him visa? So when they say this to you, they know that you are a black man. They will use all this rubbish to brainwash you. If you rig election, we deny you visa. Visa to heaven. So, why do you think it is the best they can do? If they indeed want to help you. They brought Obi to scuttle the chances of our people agitating for Biafra. They brought Obi to delay the process of Biafra. They brought Obi to use Obi to destroy IPOB and the Biafra restoration by telling you that IPOB is the reason why Obi will not win. IPOB, because of our diplomatic mindset, because of our wisdom, because of us following the move of FULQNI and their British counterpart and their Western counterpart and their agenda. We follow it. We see them before they see us. we say to Obi, we are not going to interfere with your shenanigan. Carry it out, then you will blame the right people. Where is Obi today? Where are you, Obi? Because if it is Tinubu that you rig election against, Tinubu was going to go wacko. The whole world was going to know what is in Aso Rock. If it was Tinubu, that is the reason why I love some of the Yorubas. Because Yoruba man is not, he will tell you sometimes he will say it if he want, without fear or favor. You see, Dino Melai, the way he is campaigning, the way he is actually, going wacko. That is Yoruba for you. An Igbo man, you will be saying, you will be believing that you will continue to keep faith in your doubts while you are drowning. Is it after you have drowned and no one is noticing you anymore, that you will now know, you will start now fighting? I want to come up, I want to come up. If you are indeed a person who have the interest of those idiots that are running around you, I can categorically tell you, you should have made a press release. You should now say to the people, IPOB is not the problem. Nnamdi Kanu is not the problem. You didn't want to talk about it, right? Because you believe the North will not vote for you. Now, after the North voted for you, what happened? They stole it from you. So who is fooling who? Who is fooling who? I ask you. All these things you are rallying, protesting, telling Obident to give you, Nigeria give you your vote. You are wasting your time. You need to call for a revolution. It is now or never. Revolution is the only thing that will take you out of this your, misery. Revolution. Join IPOB, join restoration of your indigenous nation before British came. Before a white man came to that area of sub-Saharan that is seen as nigger area, a byword. You are called by a byword and you are answering it. You believe something good will come out of the insult that they are calling you. This insult that they are calling you, you believe something will come out of you. Nothing will come out of you. The meaning of nigger is a bad omen, according to the English dictionary. Then they put it area. That is the reason why when you hear people from North country, you will hear them calling you Nigeria. Because that is the true meaning of your name. That is your true name. Nigeria, nigger area. If you want to call it slowly, nigger area. It is a byword, an insult. You are bearing it. You believe that it will transition you to fourth industrial revolution. You believe it will transition you to anything that is good or beneficial to the people who dwell in it, or people who is presumed to be owners of it. It will never, because you are already being, you are being run by a program that is not built to favor you as an ordinary person. The political class can only force it because they will steal from it. They will steal from the system to enrich themselves. So they will run private jet, their wives will be running all over the country. They don't care about you. They don't care about you. If you tell Obident, those who are calling Obident to take his vote or to give Obident his vote, you don't love yourself, you don't love Obident. Because I can assure you, if eventually they decide to say, now, the international community start talking, they say, let's give it to Obident, you should know they have planned what they will do to Obident. They will use terrorists to swallow Nigeria overnight. Overnight. You are crying for the imposter in Aso Rock. You are crying because of him. I want you to know that if Obident to go there, the cry you will be worse than imposter in Aso Rock. Do you think Tinubu, all his money that he has lost, you will think he will allow Obident to enjoy the seat of power? Do you think Atiku will allow? Do you think Northern Coalition Group will allow? Do you think there is anything amongst FULQNI Caliphate and their group? You think they will allow them? You think Islamic State will allow Christians to rule over you? That's why they gave Tinubu's Muslim ticket. And they believe, you believe that. Okay, now, Tinubu started buying the Christian pastors, criminals, all of them. None of them is a good person. According to the Bible, Micah 3:11, Jeremiah 6:13, Ezekiel, in the book of Ezekiel, Matthew, it is all of them. The Tinubu started buying them first by wearing priest regalia to go and follow him, work with him, Muslim ticket, just to brainwash people. And at the end of the day, you capitulate. You accepted it. Muslim ticket. Today they have imposed Muslim ticket. Now it is double Muslim that is going to rule over you. Now remember what we have been telling you. 2023 Islamic State must be restored in Nigeria. It is the agenda. Islamic State will be declared in Nigeria if you as obedient or obedient will not wake up from your slumber and decide to actually take your destiny by yourself and stop this your stupid running up and down. Obedient will help you. There is no politician that will help you. The only thing that will help Nigeria as a contraption of Britain, it is actually referendum. This is the voice of Chukwuokike Abiama speaking. It is not the voice of man. That is the reason why I speak to you fearlessly. I don't care about who is crying or who don't like me. I tell you the way it is. It is referendum. If you like, if you try it again, you will fail. Obedient. If you don't wake up now, what is his name? P2P. If you don't wake up now to all these people you have deceived, both those who went and got injured in their eyes, that scar will never move away from them for the sake of supporting you. If you don't stand up and start now to tell people what Nigeria is all about, Chukwuokike Abiama will hurt you. Chukwuokike Abiama will not spare you. It is indeed true you are loved by these people. They love you because they believe that you are their prayer answered. They abandoned Mazen Nnamdi Kanu for the sake of you, obedient. They abandoned Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, the Messiah in Nigeria. The Nigeria Messiah. They abandoned him for the sake of hoping that something good will come out of you, Obi. Today, Obi, you are not talking. You are not granting interview. I haven't seen if you have. Until I see. You have not granted interview. You have not been vocal about this system that rigged thee out of it. It is plain to see that the system was bought in the favor of Muslim ticket, because they have to have a Muslim man in power for the Islamic agenda to be fulfilled. Tinubu, who will forget his what he need to say? You think he will remember when Shetima will give him a paper? Tinubu sign this. He will sign Islamic State into law. He wouldn't even know when he signed it. If he refused to sign it, they will kill him before his time, before 2 years. If you refuse to go their way, they will kill him before 2 years. I hope you are paying attention. Those of you, share this video. And I want you to know that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, because they have seen that he is the Messiah of these ordinary people in Nigeria, the reason why they have placed him in a solitary confinement. I want so many of you to go and actually read the story of Robert Sobukwe. Robert Sobukwe. He is the founding father, he is founding member of Pan-Africanism. Founding member of Pan-Africanism in 1959, thereabout. He is the founding father of Pan-Africanism, founding member. The story of Robert Sobukwe is a man who is actually, he knows what he believes, he promotes what he believes, and he's ready to die for what he believes. He is a man who loves his people. He's a man who wants to, total emancipate his people. Who wanted total freedom for his people. These are the people that were supposed to be celebrated, not actually Mandela. I can categorically tell you. Anybody that the big world is celebrating is not a true hero for Africa. Anybody that is celebrated by the big world is not the true hero of this Africa. Is a hero for the big world. It is not easy for the big world to celebrate a black man. It means that he's not the true hero of black people. He's a hero of the big world. Now, Robert Sobukwe, I was reading through the history of Robert Sobukwe. I found out that the same thing that they are doing to Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was the same thing they did to Robert Sobukwe. Remember, the colonization of South Africa started with Britain before going in the 18th century. It went to the hands of Netherlands. Now, in that regard, Robert Sobukwe was fighting for the freedom. Robert Sobukwe was fighting for total freedom of his people. The same thing they are doing to Mazi is what they did to him. He was discharged and acquitted by the court. And they actually amended a section in the Constitution that had him rearrested. And not only rearrested, he was placed in a solitary confinement. He was placed in a solitary confinement Sorry for that. He was placed in a solitary confinement. Do you know why? Because his influence, he has this ability to influence people around him. He has this knowledge that he can influence you, can teach you. Do you know how? The reason why they put him in a solitary confinement after rearresting him is for him not to have access to people, to try to see if they will destroy his mind, to try to make sure that he will never ever give this his wisdom, pass it through to another person. Now, after placing him in a solitary confinement, you know what happened to him? After he was released, not a long time ago, he developed an illness. He developed an illness. He died of that illness. I believe it is the plan of Britain and Nigeria against Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Maybe one day they will just release him when they know that what they had, the poison they have been giving him, is now uncurable. You know they can give you a cancer. You can actually be given a cancer. you can actually be given all sort of sickness. How was Bob Marley died? They gave him a shoe. He put on the shoe. Something, poked him from the shoe. From there, that was the problem of Bob Marley. That's when his sickness started and how he died. But the most important thing is that we are telling Nigeria, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, whether he is released today, tomorrow, we will hold you responsible if anything happened to him in the next 20 years. We will hold you responsible. In the next 20 years, we will hold Nigeria responsible. If you release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, this is not 18th century, or this is not 19th century. This is 21st century. We are not in 19th century anymore. We are in 21st century. Where there is technology, there is intelligence. Where the fourth industrial revolution is able to, make things easier, accessible. So, it is actually, I am putting the world on notice. We are the indigenous people of Biafra. We were able to hold the war from 1967 till 1970, 3 years, with Britain sabotaging our military supply. We didn't get military supply for 2 years. With Britain sabotaging and block every avenue to access food through Nigeria. They block our food supply. A genocide was committed. More than 3.5 million women and children was killed. Nobody is held accountable for war crime committed on Biafrans. This is no longer the time. Imagine what you did. We held the war for 3 years. You did all that. We held the war for 3 years. Imagine now. Do you think you will defeat Biafra? If you eventually do something that will trigger a war between Nigeria and Biafra, do you think you will defeat us? You can't. You cannot. So the most important thing, we do not want to go through that process. And not that we are scared of that process, but for the sake that we want to get our freedom diplomatically, peacefully, we are exploring every peaceful means possible to achieve our freedom. Until otherwise, we are not scared to die to save our children. We are not scared to die. Our ancestors, our parents laid the foundation. They died that our, their remnant may survive to fight from where they stopped. I'm talking about our two fathers, not our forefathers. They died for the sake that we may live. And we are the remnant of them. And we have risen from their ashes. And we are going to make sure that their death is not accounted for for nothing. That is the reason why the only man that actually woke up, you want to kill him. You're poisoning him in the solitary confinement, using his siblings to, cover it up. It will not work. Not in this era. We are only fighting for our freedom. We are not fighting to intimidate anybody. We are not anti-democratic movement, and we are not saying that because we want to, credit the big world who promote democracy. We love democracy. We were the people who introduced democracy in this world. So you can't tell us about democracy. Our people introduced democracy even from the time of old. When my ancestor Jesus Christ used what is called ifenza. There is something they called ifenza. It is democracy. Our people were practicing democracy before the white man came. And white man saw it. There are many people who were doing good before they came. We have a patriarchal system in Africa before the white man came. Patriarchal system. And I am going to tell you the reason why patriarchy is being abolished. Because today, everything that is happening, every man, African men are now, they are psychologically destroyed. Psychologically destroyed. So now, every action of every black man against, a woman, it is because of these societal and patriarchal settings of Africa which made them to believe that they are the one, they own this thing. It is not about the patriarchal settings. The patriarchal settings was what God gave to us as Africa. The fact that the big world came and colonized us, placed us into this mess, that our men are traumatized, our men are destroyed. So many of them that are psychologically, imbalanced. They end up killing their loved ones. They call it is because of your patriarchal society. Western world, they used to practice matriarchal society. They have matriarchal society. They couldn't, practice patriarchy because it was difficult for them. That's why they come to impose it on us. They destroyed our minds. We now see our loved ones as our problems. That we end up killing our loved ones, which is our wives, or we end up actually having gender-based violent. But the patriarchal society is a society set up that is built to care for your woman, that is built to make sure you are the provider, you are the leader, you are not abuser of women. Because women, when they present everything about your household. When people see your woman, they will now say, nah, this family is wealthy, because they see it through your women. That is the patriarchal society we practice in Africa. It is not the society we use to kill our women. It is not the society that kills or intimidates women. It is as a result of colonial, activities. And as a result of the system that has been introduced, people are destroyed. They don't have the system to take them through a rehabilitation process. Patriarchal society of Africa, we cherish and respect our women. We love them because they are our pride. That is the reason why they say, beside every successful man, there is a woman. Beside every successful man, there is a woman. Because that woman is the person that will make you more successful. Because you are there to lead. And she is there to be loved by you. Not to be abused. Not to be beaten up. Or not to be ostracized. or not to be your slave. He is there to build with you. So many media and mainstream media today, they are preaching against the patriarchal, society of Africa, believing that it is the patriarchal settings that is the problem of Africa. It is not. The problem is the mind. That is the reason why we preach mind emancipation. Once we are able to emancipate our mind from mental slavery, we will be able to understand that when you take out your time to choose a woman and they leave their family to be with you, you will understand that this woman is now part of you. It is not your toy. She is not your punching bag. She is part of you now. Must be treated with love, must be respected, must be your queen, must be your pride, must be everything. That is patriarchy. In matriarchal society, just like America, Britain, Europe's, women take the lead, men follow. That is the reason why you find so many single moms today in those societies. So many single moms, so many divorcees, and they saw these things, their matriarchal society, they cannot correct it. It is not working for them. They now impose it on us to make it. Because when you learn something that you are not born with, you want to overdo it. That is the problem of so many African countries. But I want to assure you, patriarchal settings in Africa is never the reason why there is gender-based violence in Africa. It is never the reason why there is, victimization of women and children. It is as a result of bad governance, as a result of the system that is introduced or was introduced by the colonialists, that made the people, the way they are struggling, the way they are actually grappling with everything, destroys their mind, place their mind into the highway. Now the stress, nothing to rehabilitate them, nothing to make them heal. Many things were taken away from them, and you expect these people to still behave normally. It is not possible. So that has been the problem in Africa. So now you will understand that every challenges we are facing in Africa has everything to do with the big world. It has everything to do with big world. We actually are trying to make away with our good norms and value system, our culture. We're trying to make away with our culture. It is not the solution. Trying to give women more power, it is not the solution. Because it will create single mom, single dad, which one the children will lack something. When there is a single parent, the children will lack something in their life. Very, very important aspect of their life. The only thing you can say that is happening in Biafra land, what is happening in Biafra land, when you see a successful man, a grown-up man, you see the wife next to them. If you don't have a wife as a successful man, people see you as a irresponsible person. They see you to be very irresponsible if you cannot have a wife and live with them with harmony. They see you as irresponsible person. That is the reason why every country in Africa that practice European ways of life or American system, They practice matriarchal system, and the matriarchal system actually it triggers gender-based violence. It triggers them one way or the other, because it is not what people are used to. It is very important that we should stop fighting our culture, our good norms and value system. We go back to it, nurture it, embrace it, because that's part of the reason why we lose out. We decide to start promoting the ones these people gave to us. Instead of trying to abolish it, that problem you see in it, try to educate them, bring them back to the way it was. Bring them back to the way it was. It will help all of us to thrive. When you do so, educate this 21st century man. Educate them what patriarchy was all about, was like during the time of our fathers, our third fathers or forefathers. Educate them. A man who killed the wife is not a hero, he's a bastard. A man who beat up the wife is not a hero, he's a bastard. I am telling you. It is not patriarchy. It is actually, learning other people's way of life. We cherish our women, we love them. Forget these teachings, these nomadic teachings and all that. So in all these things, they have a big role to play in our day-to-day activities. Until we separate ourselves from this big world that is exploiting us, financially, that is exploiting us psychologically, that is exploiting us emotionally, that is exploiting us spiritually. That's why your pastor is exploiting you. They introduce a system. All these things were introduced by them. Now you begin to understand, whenever we are talking, we are calling them. It is not because we want to call them, or we are actually, blaming them for every of our problem. They contributed to it, but because of our laziness, because of our ignorance, because of our vulnerability, gullibility, we are promoting these things that they have introduced, and it is haunting us, destroying our minds, destroying our effort, the more and more, until we actually say no to all these things we are doing. Trying to look for a solution where there is no solution. P2B, you were looking for solution in P2B when we tell you that P2B is not the solution and can never be the solution. You don't listen, because black man will never listen to something that is going to give them, safe haven, that is going to give them freedom. They rather listen to where it is difficult. That is how their minds were positioned. Make it to be difficult. When it is difficult, when it is harsh, they will respect you. When you are rude to a black man, they will respect you. But when you decide to be, friendly with them, they take advantage of it. It is a problem. It is a sickness. A big sickness that needs to be cured. I am rounding up. Don't forget, Islamic agenda in Nigeria is in progress. It is in progress. And don't forget, in Africa, almost the whole countries in Africa, they are suffering terrorism. The only country in Africa that is not suffering terrorism is these countries in the SADC region. In the SADC region. Some of them, not all of them. Countries like where are they? Swaziland, they haven't started, I believe. Country like Botswana, they haven't started. They don't have terrorism, I believe. Some country like South Africa, they don't have terrorism. But the plans is being put in place to bring it in. Because now, if they bring it to South Africa, if they take it to, they will take it to other places, which is within them. Now, after that, if there is, most of the people in Africa, they see South Africa as, it is a nation that practices democracy. It is a nation that still know the meaning of democracy and the freedom of expression. If you listen to them and their activists, no one is being harassed the way we are harassed in Nigeria now, or the way we are killed in Nigeria. So they know that if they introduce such terrorism in there, that everything will go, will go bizarre. We go bizarre. Because they have been trying through proxies to see if they will, bring that country down. And the worst part of it is that they are using some people in the position of leadership, which they do not know. They will always bring it in a way. They will use you without you knowing that you are playing a double agent against yourself. The same thing that Belima is doing. It is their way. Once you see such move, we understand it because we follow the algorithm. We follow the activities. Once we see such move, we know it. And it will not take time before it will manifest. But we pray that it doesn't manifest. We don't want, if all countries in Africa become terrorist invaded, who is going to come for the other one's rescue? Who? You can see the video of what you saw in Mozambique, where they were throwing bodies. It is bodies of this terrorist that was being fought by the soldiers from African country. So if they actually grounded the whole Africa, which African country is going to help who? Now we have to instead of calling African country to go and help other African country, we have to call America, we have to call Britain, we have to call maybe France to come and help to fight terrorism in Africa. That's why the plans, and these plans always happen through NGOs. African leaders should be careful of the type of NGO they allow into their country. I know another one that is making their ways in Africa, but I will not talk about it. The most important thing is that African leaders should be mindful of those who claim they are NGOs and they are looking forward to help your nation, and they will be proactive more than you as a government to help the people, for the people to acquire people's love. Very, very important. So I am going to leave it here until we meet again. I want our people especially those who supported Obidient. You haven't learned your lesson yet. I can see you have not learned your lesson, that your vote does not count, your opinion does not matter. It is now or never. You have the opportunity to correct all your mistakes and your atrocities. You have the time to correct it now or never. If you don't, what is coming is going to take you by force. The celebrities. Of course, Nigeria does not have celebrities. Celebrities, because they are influential and they are moneyed, they always try to stand in solidarity with ordinary people who are suffering. Bring their suffering to the TV space for people to see, so that there will be government or individual intervention. But they have turned all that to money making scheme. All of them. When they start bringing people's problem, it is money making scheme. Now, in this regard, we don't have the celebrities. It is only celebrities. What we have in Nigeria, once you give them money, they start promoting things that they know it is not going to work for even a common man. They will start promoting them. All you celebrity obedient, where are you today? We will continue to watch you guys to see where you are going to end up. It will rain on you people. That is what is going to happen in Nigeria. This rain that is going to fall, all of you who are Biafrans, you will hear me. It will be raining on the slave, it will be raining on the master. The rain that is about to come to Nigeria. You see this, your Muslim ticket? It is the rain coming to Nigeria. If you, as you that is saying, give us your vote, give us our vote. Vote is not going to help, even if they give it to you. Take that opportunity and fight for your freedom. Total emancipation and total liberation. Break the chain of Britain, of amalgamation. The amalgamation is the reason why you see this. Multiculturalism is not going to work. It brings civil war. It brings, civil, unrest. Multiculturalism. It makes people to marginalize others. When they tell you diversity is your strength, diversity can never be your strength. At some point, that diversity will become what you call civil war, marginalization. Because the people you marginalize today, tomorrow they will wake up. They will realize you are marginalizing them. They will wake up and start fighting. Then the country is in chaos. Who is to be blamed? You. Nobody in position of politics is willing to help you or willing to actually do anything to help you to thrive. They are only doing it for themselves and their power. And to be going to America everywhere, to be representing you, to be shaking hands with the big presidents who love their people in Europe, in the Western world. That's the only thing they want. Going to America, shaking hands with Joe Biden, who is doing everything for the benefit of his people. Going to America, shaking hands with the Prince Charles III, who is doing everything to help their country. Going to France to shake hands with the French president, who is doing everything to help their country, including even exploiting other nations to help their country. You see what is happening in Turkey. In Turkey, Greece, and Palestine. You see what is happening there? Train collision killed 40, leave many people injured in Greece. Why? Because Greece, Turkey, all this area was where all this suffering of our lives began. Greece, Turkey, Greek, all this European rulership, all of them started from that area, which is a Roman rulership. So it was in Greece where they call us nigger for the first time. The Grecians, they called us nigger for the first time. I am not happy about what is happening to them. But you should know that every sin must go on. No sin goes unpunished. He visited the children even to the fourth generation with the sins of their ancestors. It is in the law. It is not my word. I still stand in solidarity with them. But the will of God will prevail. Even in Africa, it will happen to the evil people. In the whole world, let me give you this. A time will come when the Western world will be a desolate place. It is not my word. Prophecy. A time will come. The Western world will become a desolate place. For because of these things, they don't have mercy on the people that God actually left, which is Africa. So God will turn against them. It is written unto us. And if you ask me, it is not my wish, because they are human beings. We see all of us as human beings, even though there are people who see themselves as more human beings than others. But is it going to happen? It is inevitable, and it is imminent. Until we meet again. Forget me, don't forget my words. Write today's date. It will come to pass.